Hello, welcome to day 25 of 30 Days of KNIME. There are two approaches to oversampling that you could easily use here. You could either duplicate or you could create. So duplicating is you're basically going to copy your minority class data points over and over again. And creating is a technique you can use called SMOTE. Or is it SMOTE? I think it's SMOTE, I'm not quite sure. But there's a note for that. Let's start with duplicating. First, let us view the distribution in both classes just so you can get a sense of what we're dealing with here. So if we use a group by node, we can see the count of cancelled flights and the count of non-cancelled flights. Here we can see that we have about 51,000 flights which were not cancelled and a little under 1,000 flights which were cancelled. So we really need to have 51 times more cancelled flights for this to be more balanced. Let's start with the duplication technique. I'm actually going to show you here loops, and it's very easy to use loops in KNIME. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate the cancelled flights using the row splitter node. So at the top output port, I'm going to have the flights which were cancelled. There, again, a little under 1,000 of them. Then I want to select this sample 51 times. So I'm going to bring in a loop. The counting loop start allows me to set the number of iterations for my loop to run, and I'm going to set that to 51, sorry. And then I'm going to put a loop end, because once it's run 51 times, I want it to collect the data for all of those cancelled flights. Now I'm going to run this. You can see I have about 50,000 data now, and these are all flights which were cancelled. Now I'm going to concatenate this data set which has only cancelled flights to the flights which were not cancelled, and that's coming out from this port. I showed you the concatenate node before, and I'm going to use that now. And if we use the group by node again, we will see that we have about equivalent cancelled and non-cancelled flights. There we go. We have over 50,000 non-cancelled flights and cancelled flights. So false cancelled for non-cancelled and true for cancelled. Now our data is more balanced, and that's duplication. But an even better approach leverages k-means to create new data points which really resembles what we see in the original data. So I'm just going to delete all of this and bring in the SMOTE. And when you open it up, you see the configuration options. You need to tell it which class column you want to apply SMOTE to. And like I said, it uses k-means nearest neighbors methodology to create its new data points. You can set the number of neighbors. I'm going to leave that to the default of 5. Then how much do you want to oversample by? You can specify that, or you can just let it know to oversample the minority class. And once you do this, it's going to figure out that it should get about 50,000 cancelled flights for you. If you enable the static seed, next time you run this, you should get the same output. All right, SMOTE is done running. The thing with SMOTE is it does take some time to run. The data it gets, you're actually creating data, and that takes some time for it to process, for it to calculate all those centroids and everything it needs to do to give you some new data. Let's just use the group by to see what we have now in terms of number of cancelled flights versus not cancelled flights. Now we have the exact same number of flights which were not cancelled and flights which were cancelled, and our data set is more balanced now. So you can use the duplication method or the creation method. This one gives you data which is very possible and not just duplicating, but it does take some time to run. So you can experiment with all three methods, including the equal size sampling one, and see how they affect your models. All right, that's all, guys. See you tomorrow. Have a lovely, fantastic weekend. Goodbye.